chat. I see that. Oh, and I see you've left a question there in the chat, Cheryl. I'm going to write it down before it disappears, and we might put that in a viewer request stream or something. Because that's a good question. That's something I've been wanting to look into as well. What is the bigger picture? Hang on. What is the bigger picture? I'm trying to write as fast as I can and still have it legible. Okay, about what's going on with, in Canada's water supply system. Okay. Okay. So that was a really good question, but I think we will do that in a viewer request stream. If you guys want to, we can do viewer requests at some point this weekend. I will have to check my calendar and make sure I don't accidentally do the thing where I double. I've once triple booked myself before. But I would like to do that. Hello to Renee, Cheryl, Dave, Sharon, and Peace Brooks. Hello. Welcome. There are 6 of y'all in the chat, and I'm really glad to see you. This is the first few minutes of the stream where we just wait for everybody to come in and I get shuffled. You guys had some really excellent questions today in response to my Weird Questions community post. So I have written down, how many did I, last night. I was actually really excited for this, so instead of sleeping at like 12:30, I was like, oh, I gotta write down questions. I gotta go through all of these. So how many did I? 3, 4. Okay, 6. Well, we have 6 to start with, and then we'll see where that takes us. Because I know that there were at least like 30 comments, and it is so hard to go through and pick sometimes. And so if we get through all 6 and we still have lots of time, or we still want to go ahead and do more, then we can always just do more. Are dogmen a lab experiment gone wrong or evolved? That's the perfect kind of weird question for this channel. I don't know too much about dogmen though, so I would have to look into that a little bit, and then, I mean, next weird questions, absolutely. Hi, Little Sparrow and Deirdre. And there's other people who joined. Hello to all of you as well. We're just getting set up. I think today I'm going to take out my amethyst, my rose quartz, and the thing is, really cool thing about these, I bought them at different times. Same store, but I bought them at different parts of the year, and I just like how they kind of fit together like a heart a little bit. Maybe, I don't know if you guys see it, but my brain likes to look for the weird patterns and sees designs and everything, so I like to have my, or is it this way? I don't know, I don't think it matters. So I love having my amethyst and my rose quartz together. It's just so cool. I think they make a pretty little heart. I have my little baby amethyst. Oh man, all you guys are filing in. Here we go. We got Diane, we got Egypt, Truth Seeker, we got Michelle. Awesome. And obviously if I didn't see your name, but you are here, hello, and I'm sorry for missing you, but I'm glad you're here. What else are we gonna put out today? Spirit, what? Oh, we're gonna put out onyx today. At some point, I should just do a video or a stream or something just on my crystals, just showing you my collection. I have quite a few. Onyx has a little chip in her paw. It's the first time I noticed that. She must have fallen off my the dresser or something and chipped. She's always had, I don't know if you guys can see it, front camera doesn't focus very well, but there's a line right across here. She's always had that sort of scratch. Yeah, I really love onyx. She really popped out at me during, it was my first course of Reiki training. She felt special. And then this is my owl. These two, I like to call them a mismatched pair because they just, their energy just goes together really well. It sounds weird saying this, but it's like these two crystals would get along well. I like using my owl, provides wisdom. Or helps me to open up my mind a little bit more and help me to, while we need to honor the emotional and intuitive aspects of ourselves, it's okay to open up the mind and allow for your logical, rational part to work. And then, of course, use your intuition in conjunction with it. This one doesn't really have a name. I didn't name it. I feel like if it did have a name, it would start with an M, and he's a boy. I don't know why the letter M comes in when I don't know. So I wonder what that owl's name is. All right. What else? I'm just going to start with, I like how I basically just hijacked their her box of matches. They're supposed to be in the kitchen, you know, for like emergency purposes or whatever. You need to light candles or something like that. They're mine now. I drew a Reiki symbol on them. What I'm going to do is carefully light one. And I'm going to light my cinnamon bundle. Without burning my fingers. There we go. It's kind of lit. I don't know if you guys can see it smoking, but I can definitely smell it. I love burning cinnamon. So what this does is it just like provides abundance and just sort of allows for an abundance mindset. At least for me, it helps me to remember that I have everything I need. I am abundant and I am grateful. And I just allow for more and more possibilities to come in from the universe. Things like blessings and opportunities and stuff like that. Okay. We got 19 people, so I think we're gonna get ready to start. I see a few people left. Like, get on with it. But, oh, Little Sparrow says she just lit an amber incense cone. Ooh. Now, I don't have any incense, but I do like to burn. Oh, I don't really like the smell of sage, personally. It depends on what it's bundled with. But I love cinnamon, Palo Santo. Is that, I think it's called? Anyways, it's wood. It smells really minty. It smells really fresh. I like to also burn bay leaves. I use bay leaves a lot in my magic practice. And while I'm talking, you guys can't see it, but I'm shuffling. See if I can point my camera down a little bit. Ooh. Here we go. That's better. You guys get a little view of my room. This is my office now, is my room. This is where I'm doing all of my work every day. Not every day, but most days. Okay. Ooh, Cheryl says boiling cinnamon in water gives a nice smell. I bet you it would. So to those who just joined, hang on, I need to be taller. I need to sit up on the pillow. I think we went over this last stream. Short people problems. God, that's better, actually. There we go. Short people problems. I'm only 5'3". We have our weird questions. Let's see, we got 6 of them. And I think we're going to start with this first one. This one comes from Cheryl, and she asked, can humans reincarnate as animals? And I paraphrased it here, but she told a little story to go along with her question. She said, shortly before my friend, a devout Buddhist, died, he told me that he would return as a cat and to watch for him. Recently, and I guess some time passed, and she said she didn't really think about it much. And then she says, recently, a sweet cat appeared on our patio and begged to come in. And then I think from what she was saying, like, she lives out in the middle of nowhere, and she had no idea where this cat could have come from, because I don't think there were close neighbors or anything. Nora is now part of our family and keeps bringing me the jade bracelet that my friend used to wear. And then I think she said something about, like, the cat likes to wear the bracelet. I'm assuming like a collar or something, which, 1, cute, and 2, stylish, because jade is beautiful. Nora is going to be a stylish kitty. And so she's wondering if that is her friend, if he reincarnated and whoop, came back as Nora. And we already have cards flying out. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Just sat up hairstyle. I think that was the 9 of Pentacles that flew out, but I put it back. If it comes back out, then it was meant to. So, can humans reincarnate as animals? Spirit, what can you tell us about that? Can humans reincarnate as animals? This is neat. I'm just clarifying a couple more cards. So the short answer that I was getting from Spirit right away, I was hearing it doesn't normally happen, but if it's going to help the soul to grow, then they will allow it. So I think it's, well, and something else here. It would have been that soul's personal choice. And for some reason, this 2 of Swords is also why I was getting, it doesn't usually happen, or not everybody gets to do that. But why? Why does not everybody get to do that? Five of Swords and 7 of Swords. There's something to do with, well, okay, animalistic behaviors, but something about accidentally sabotaging your progress. I think I understand what this is saying. Okay. So let's say that in your human lifetime, let's say you lived as a guy named Bob. Okay, so in Bob's lifetime, he learned a lot of valuable lessons about selflessness, let's just say. And maybe he had a challenge where like he was really selfish in life, and then something in him sort of shifted and he started learning how to be more considerate and how to be, you know, more selfless and more willing to share and things like that. And let's just say that, you know, Bob died, whatever, reincarnated as some type of animal. Now, sometimes part of the survival instinct, animal instinct, is survive and do what I need to do to survive. I'm going to eat this food even though I'm not hungry because I don't want you to have it because I need to survive. Okay? This living like that after just having a lifetime where he had to learn lessons about like, well, things like getting past the survival instinct, getting past the selfishness, because it's like, okay, I'm safe, I'm secure, I have everything I need. It's safe for me to share with others. Like, that could hinder some of his spiritual progress. So he might delve back into a selfishness mindset, which may carry over into the next human lifetime. So this is sometimes why this is really new to me. This is the first time, my first time learning about all of this. So I'm just telling you guys the information that I get coming in. That's why people don't often get to reincarnate as animals. But I do have that sometimes they can. If it will help the soul to grow in some way, then it will be awarded. So there are times where it would be okay to, like, there could be very valuable lessons learned as, like, in an animal lifetime that maybe somebody didn't pick up in a human lifetime. Let's see. I have other cards here, so what else? Just want to clarify one. Sometimes, after I'm hearing a particularly stressful lifetime, some people are a little bit hesitant to come back to Earth because, like, oh, I don't know if I want to go through that again. And of course, you know, you go through your healing on the other side. You go through, you sort of look at everything that happened in that lifetime, and you have a different perspective on it. You understand things a lot more clearly, but for some reason I get that some still are hesitant to come back. And sometimes some animal lifetimes can be very joyful and can be very easy. So for example, like this, like in Cheryl's story, like with her friend coming back as a cat. She did ask if that was her friend coming back, and I am quickly going to look at that. And I feel like it is. In this case, it actually is. So he left. Obviously, he passed away from his human lifetime. And then justice. Something came into balance because he said that he would do this. And so to balance it out, he actually was able to come back as a cat. So that was cool. If that answers your question, Cheryl, your friend, that is very likely your friend. Seems like he was allowed to come back. Now, some souls just need to have an easy lifetime. And if it means you come back as a house cat or like some kind of domesticated pet where you are always cared for, or, you know, even if you live in the wild and you just have a happy existence and I don't know, live in as little fear as possible, because the thing with animals, fear seems to be a very big factor in their decisions and in their lives. That's that survival instinct, right? But some animals, like I said, can have really easy, peaceful lives. And if some souls, if that's what it takes to sort of coax you back into doing a human lifetime, Like, okay, so you had that tough lifetime, and then we let you have an easy one, so now it's time for you to try this human thing again. Somebody left a really good comment. And I don't know if they deleted it or what, or not. I can't find it. Okay, so they must have deleted it, but they had mentioned something about in Buddhism. Now, I'm not very well versed in Buddhism. I'm learning about it, but I'm not an expert on it. Now, they said in that comment something like it's harder to clear your karma as an animal. That's really interesting. That could be another reason why humans don't usually get to come back as animals. But in some cases, they can. I'm hearing case-by-case basis. Case-by-case basis. But it was cool, Cheryl, that story you're telling us about, like, your friend, and from what the cards showed us, it seems like he did reincarnate as your little Nora. And that's really sweet. That's, like, I'm just picking up that is, like, a special case. Like, that was a special allowance made for him. You guys are all talking about cats. I know. I grew up on a farm, acreage, whatever, and we had so many cats. So many outdoor cats. Like, at one point when I was a child, I think we counted like 21. And then, of course, my parents or somebody was able to catch the males and get them fixed, but that solved the problem. But for a while there, and every single cat had a name. Every single one. So, I adore cats. They're definitely important to me. Oh, okay, so that comment that was deleted, Peace Brooks is saying it was me. So, Peace, was I right? Did I interpret that right? Because I don't completely remember what you said. I had seen the comment flash up and I thought, oh, I'll get back to it, and then I never did. Because it was deleted, but... All right. Oh, good. She says I got it right. And then Dave is saying the human body is representative of enlightenment. I've heard that too. All right. So our next question is from Lola, and it also has to do with reincarnation. She is asking, has Edgar Cayce reincarnated? Because I forgot to look into this, because she said she had read somewhere that in a vision or something like that, he had seen himself reincarnated in Kansas in the year 2020. And now Edgar Cayce was a psychic, or kind of a prophet. He used to give all kinds of predictions. A lot of them came true in some ways, I think. But he was, like, very powerful. Very, very powerful psychic. And, he lived during the, I don't know, 1940s or 50s. He was alive then. And so Lola's asking, has he reincarnated? Since she had seen somewhere he had seen himself reincarnated in Kansas in the year 2020. So if he had, he would be, just a little baby. That new body would be just a little baby. I love babies. So is Edgar Cayce reincarnated? Oh, Patricia says, Cayce was given medical info about those who came to him. The answers worked through him. Yeah, he was a very powerful channel for spiritual information. Like, very powerful. And he would get into that deep trance state. They used to call him, like, the sleeping prophet or something like that. He'd get into a very deep state and would be able to get all that information out. Oh, Lola says he's got an institute still in operation in Virginia Beach. Oh, he said he was about 10 in this vision. Okay, so he'd have been born like 2010-ish. Gotcha. Okay. So he'd be still a kid. He'd be a kid in Kansas right now. Is that true? Has he reincarnated? And what can you tell us about that, Spirit? I think he has. I don't know if it's specifically in Kansas or anything like that, but I have that in his current incarnation right now, he lives in a very happy home. He has a good home life. It seems the energy that I feel with this one is like their home is very, it's inviting, it's just very welcoming. The energy in that family is very harmonious. And it's, of course, not to say that they might not have problems here and there, because every family has something at some point in their time together, at least once, runs into problems. But it seems like he's very satisfied with where he's at right now. So right away, good home life. Another thing, why is he here? There's something about fast-tracking his growth or his development. And he's very, I say he could be reincarnated in a girl's body, who knows, but just for the sake of simplicity. What else are you telling me with this card? There's like a very passionate energy. And for some reason, I'm getting Queen lyrics in my head. Hearing, I'm a man with a one-track mind, so much to do in just one lifetime. I think those are the words. Something like that, but that's the line that I was hearing. What song is that from? I Want It All, I think. I think that's what it's from. So much to do in one lifetime or something like that. His soul is on like an important mission to him. To his soul, it's very important to be here. He's learning right now. And that makes sense. He's a child at the moment. The child's job is to learn and grow the best they can. But he's also learning about, there's like a big lesson about love. He's learning a lot about love in this lifetime. And when he gets older, it's gonna have to do with like, he's going to be learning lessons about being strong and being a leader, but still being loving and still being compassionate. I keep hearing the word activist. He might be some kind of activist in this life when he's older. The Chariot, I was hearing furthering the growth and progression of people. So he wants to come to help foster the growth of other people's souls, not just his own. I think this is why his soul feels like this is such a special mission. And he's gonna, in this lifetime, he's only 10 or so right now, it seems. Like he's... Actually, Spirit, can you tell us? Just give us a number, the right number for how old he is right now in this incarnation. I feel like he's about 9 or 10. That 9 of Cups showed me about age 9, but... What can you show us? Can you confirm to us how old he is? Now, I do feel like he is male in this lifetime, but then I'm not being shown that, like, specifically. This is just what I'm feeling, the energy around me I'm picking up. No, Spirit keeps giving me all kinds of different cards, but I think he's about 9 or 10. These 2 9s here, and that was what I felt when I first saw that 9 of Cups. He's about 9 or 10. But when he's older, he is going to show... There's something about, like, setting an example for others, for other leaders, how to be soft yet strong. How to be firm, but be gentle. So being a strong leader, but still being compassionate and caring about the people that you're leading. There is the potential for him to be very, materially successful, well, a lot of wealth there. In what way? Oh, bottom of the deck. Okay, look at, there is the High Priestess. He's going to be very intuitive. That's kind of a motif, I think, for him. Because in his lifetime as Edgar Cayce, obviously we know he's a very powerful channel, very powerful psychic. That's something that's going to continue into this lifetime as the child he is, you know, in this new incarnation. He'll be very intuitive. In what way is he going to be a leader? Can we know that? Is it going to be like in government, or is it going to be something like a teacher or a parent? You know, there's all different kinds of leadership. In what way will he be a leader? Whoa, hang on. Okay, hang on. He might be some kind of a speaker. Yeah, maybe some kind of like motivational speaker, but just like a spiritual speaker. I don't want to say like an evangelist or anything, because I don't pick up any religious vibes. I'm not getting the Hierophant or anything to suggest like the church or a man-made institution like that. But at some point when he becomes an adult, I don't know if it's the world or if it's his country or his area or something, is going to go through a hard time. There's going to be some kind of event. I keep hearing natural, so it could be some kind of natural disaster or something. I'm not really sure. People are going to be living in a lot of stress and a lot of fear. But he's going to be there comforting people. And on this card, there's a big kid and a little kid. And the big kid is handing out something to the little one. And I don't know, it's to me just showing like support. And this is him, and this is, you know, the other people around him, and he's saying, like, I'm in a position where I can help you, but I'm not better than you. You know, maybe he finds himself in a... I'm just hearing stuff from Spirit. I'm hearing relief. I'm hearing response team. So something happens, some kind of natural disaster happens, and he's there to help. Like with what? Like, I just keep getting images of, like, cleanup. Helps with cleanup, and then as he helps other people, like, he brings comfort to people, and then it's later on he becomes, like, some kind of a speaker. That's cool. That's really cool. Whoop. I was gonna ask Spirit for any last, like, bits of information or anything like that. And I had cards come whipping out. Oh my god. I need to stop throwing cards on the floor. Okay. So, it's interesting what I got. Right now, he's a kid, and he's spending a lot of time growing. And his job right now is to grow and to learn. And I think that he has an understanding of meditation at his age right now. For people who have just joined the stream, we were looking at Edgar Cayce and whether or not he's reincarnated, and it seems like he has. He's about 9 or 10 years old. It seems like he's got an understanding of meditation. That's something I pick up. Because he likes to go inward. Right now, as a kid, I feel like he's quite introverted. But when he's older, that will start to shift and he'll become more extroverted and will become more comfortable around people. And that's why it's going to be easier for him to become like a speaker or some kind of like a teacher, and why it's just going to come so naturally to him to want to comfort and help people. Right now, maybe not his soul, but just something in him just like feels stuck, like, ugh, I can't do anything. And what I was hearing is, ugh, I can't do anything because I'm just a kid. But he can. Spirit's saying you can. This is valuable time. You are going to be spending this time as a child. You are working towards your goals. But right now, your job is to grow and to be healthy and to be as strong as you can, so that you can always do your best work, so that you can do the best you can. I'm just reading off the bottom of the deck. He's a very intuitive, very... I think people would probably call him an indigo child. He's very intuitive, just seems very advanced, just wise for his age. And it's just kind of cute that he's at this stage like, oh, I'm just a kid, but I want to make a change. I really want to do, you know, like, he's just this very fired up energy. And it's almost like feels like it's trapped in him. I can't do anything. I'm just a kid. But he can, you know. And exactly, just being a child, that is the time, like Ellie says, that is the time to play and to explore your creativity. I mean, you have your whole life also to explore your creativity, and I think we never really stop playing. It just, our definition of play changes as we move from child to teenager to an adult, and so on. And that's his job right now, is to grow and to learn and to be healthy and to enjoy. Yeah, your childhood, like, and it sucks that not everybody gets to do this because of circumstances, but that's one of the most important times for learning and growth. So much development happens there, and their job is just to grow up well. Sorry, guys. Okay, so let's check that one off. We did that one. Changing gears a little bit. Diane asked, do we get signs from our soul when we are about to go home? So, why do some people seem to know before they die? And I've actually seen a few examples of this. Now, I can't give too many details because this is the internet, and you know, these are real people or whatever. There was someone I was really close to when I was young, like just really good friends with during, you know, like parts of junior high and high school or whatever, and their parent, one of their parents, was really sick, had cancer, and I found this out later, but someone had told me after, like, this kid and I, he's not a kid anymore, but after we kind of fell out of touch, someone else had told me later that before that one parent died, like just kind of in the morning on that day, they just kind of knew it was going to be the day. And so they told their spouse, and they sort of started to make arrangements. But now I don't know, you know, if all those details are like true, but that's not it isn't the first time like that I've heard of that either. Somebody just knowing when they're about to pass away. And I think the example Diane used in her comment was like somebody says, goodbye, I love you, and it just sticks out in a really weird way, and you kind of go, huh, that was strange, and then like a couple weeks later they pass away. I think that was the example she used. And like I know of someone else who, I think it was before one of their grandparents passed away, she had left a answering machine message for one of her kids, and just it just stuck out in a weird way, like, bye, I love you, I'll always be with you, or something like that. And then the next morning she'd passed away. Like, just weird stuff like that. So what's up with that, spirit? I guess that's that's our question. What is up with that? Why do some people seem to know when they're going to die? Because I know that not everybody gets this. Not everybody knows. Or not everybody gets that feeling before it happens. Because there are some deaths that are very sudden. And I do know that there are some spirits that are a little confused after they die. There's some that it takes them a while to realize what happened and that they're dead. Because of the nature of the sudden death or whatever. So, not everybody gets this in every single lifetime. So what's up with that? Why do some people get to know? Interesting. Dave says, many times I knew that it wasn't my time. That's a very valuable, feeling to be able to have too, because, you know, but of course, when faced with the possibility of death, it can be really scary. But what I have is, yes, some people some people have like a long illness, or, you know, some people, they already know, like, there are terminal illnesses out there that maybe don't present symptoms right away, or the progression is really slow. So some people, they already know because of like a diagnosis that they have, and, you know, it makes it easier for them to make like the preparations, like their will and all the legal stuff, so their family doesn't have to deal with too much of it. And then some people get a feeling or something that it's going to be time for them to go, because it's going to make their transition easier. It's going to aid in the transition. So like I said, some see it coming from a long, you know, from like a couple of years or so away because of a diagnosis they have or whatever. Some people, if that's not the case, that is just to make the transition from this lifetime to spirit realm a little bit easier, because some people really have a hard time dealing with death, and that's fair. On Earth, to us, the time it takes between our loved one leaving and then us having to live out the rest of our life before we can cross over and be with them again, it feels like a long time. Some people get to know in advance because it's going to help make the transition easier. It might make healing a little bit easier. Some people are afraid. You know, maybe somebody doesn't have a long illness. Maybe it was something that either was, you know, dormant for a long time, then suddenly flared up and got bad, or who knows, right? Whatever the case, some people are really afraid at the thought of, I'm gonna die. You know, whether it's now or it's decades from now. It's to make the process a little less scary, so that when it is time for the person to die and to cross over, they can handle it a little bit better. They can greet the transition with a little bit more, I don't want to say joy. Some people greet the transition with joy. Some people are hesitant. Some people are sad and afraid until, you know, they receive some, like a loved one that comes to them, or nobody crosses over or dies alone. Even if it's just somebody in spirit, there's always going to be someone, right? But just to make that transition a little bit easier. It's one of the biggest reasons. Whether the transition is for the self, you know, like my friend's parent that woke up that day and supposedly realized, or just supposedly had the feeling like this is the day. Maybe for the rest of the day it was just, I don't know, just made it easier to prepare for when it was time to go. Sometimes the transition is easier on the loved ones. Maybe that person, you know, maybe a person is really not afraid of dying and has accepted it and is totally okay with it. They're not afraid, but they know that they have some loved ones that are going to be really devastated. So they get that feeling like, I need to call, and like my other friend with the grandma, I need to call and tell you I love you one last time, or whatever. They get that feeling because they don't want to leave any loose ends. They don't want their loved ones to wonder did we leave things off good? Is everything okay between us? You know. Just looking at comments now. Oh, Little Sparrow says, I had the urge to tell my mom I loved her the last time I saw her alive, but I held back because it was so unusual for us to say. She says, never hold back. I know Spirit was telling me to say it. And she says, but we had a great day together. Looking forward to things, so I'm happy about that. I just tell her every day now. And she still hears you, and she still knows, and she probably likes to tell you that she loves you too. Ellie's saying she had a difficult time saying goodbye to her dad the last time because she knew she wasn't going to see him again. Dave says many experience nirvana at the time of death and leave in bliss. Yeah, but it's just, I think the moments leading up to that final moment. Some people are afraid before they feel the freedom, the bliss. So that's interesting. So it's to make the transition easier, either for the dying person or for the loved ones. Ooh. These are really slippery cards. And I guess Spirit just has a lot to say, because normally cards don't fly out unless there's like something they really want to mention. So what the heck? Spirit saying, like, don't worry about death. They're saying, live your life the best way you can. With King of Wands, it's like, have a passion for your life in the present, be satisfied, and take comfort in knowing that I just have that life continues. For some reason, this is showing me like a garden in heaven, in the spiritual realm. It's like life continues. There will always be life. And okay, Three of Swords, other people will have pain because they miss you, but the pain will pass. Because they will also come to realize that life continues. They will come to the end of their life and cross over and realize that, oh, you aren't gone forever. Okay. Yeah, bottom of the deck, Spirit's just saying, just do the best you can to enjoy your life right now. That was a really good question, but okay, our next one, this is a little bit dark, okay, but I wondered it too, and I thought it would be perfect for a weird questions stream. Now, somebody had asked this in the comment section on that weird questions post that I'd made a few days ago, and they deleted it, probably because they thought it might have been too weird for weird questions, but, so I don't know who asked it. But they asked, do animals sometimes commit suicide? And yeah, it's a weird question. Like I said, it's kind of morbid. But I wonder it too. Because like, okay, for example, sometimes you get the ones that just seem to run out in front of traffic for no reason. Like, okay, maybe like with the wilder animals, like the deer and the moose and stuff, like I get it. That's just their thing, is they run from, you know, from field to, well, I am so used to driving out in the country where this happens, but they want to go from the bush patch into the field, but of course they don't always understand that the highway is dangerous, because the highway is not part of nature. It's not really supposed to be there. So how are they supposed to know? But then sometimes you just get those ones, or you get, I've had this before too, where I don't know what kind of a bird it was, like a grouse or something like that. It wasn't a very big one. It was in the ditch, okay? And I was careful to sort of slow down, because I don't like hitting stuff either. You know, it makes me sad and upset. But I was like trying to be careful, and the friggin' thing just right in front of my car. That was it. Like, what the hell? What? Why? And I was going to look this up and try and see if there were other examples of that sort of behavior in animals. Like if other species, you know, what kinds of species display that type of behavior, or at least like self-harm behavior. And I just want to ask Spirit, like, is that what they're actually doing? Like, is it, you know, by accident that sometimes they just like run in front of traffic for no reason, or they just something like that. I don't know. Or is it on purpose? And why does that happen? Yeah, again, I don't know who asked that, but it was a good question. And honestly, there are no stupid questions. I totally believe in that. Even the questions that are generally stupid, I like those too. So even if there are stupid questions, I'm not going to judge, because I probably like those questions the best. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, you guys. K9 says, squirrels are the worst. They can never make up their mind which way to go. So do animals sometimes commit suicide? Like, I saw a video, this was a while ago, I saw it on Reddit somewhere, and it was a truck full of, might have been pigs. I'm not quite sure what animal, I don't remember which animal it was, but it's an animal that we often slaughter and eat, right? And the truck looked like it was on its way to the feedlot, and one of the pigs or whatever just like jumped out the back and fell over. They were driving on like a really steep hillside, and the pig like jumped out of the box and went over the side of the hill. And it's like, holy crap, that it's almost like it knew where it was headed, so it wanted to get it done and over with before, you know. I don't like the energy attached to this question. There's like a lot of fear attached. So what's with that? Do some animals do that? Or do we just assign like a human attribute? You know, how we definitely know that humans can commit suicide. We know that it happens in our species. Do we just assign human attributes to it? Dave says we're not lemmings. I know. Apparently that thing with the lemmings, I don't know if that's 100% true, because that documentary that Disney had made way back when, where it showed all the lemmings, apparently they don't normally do that, but they got all the lemmings to do that for the shot. I don't know if that's true or not, but I just thought of that. Anyways, what these cards are saying is, it's not necessarily suicide the way that humans think about it. Sometimes an animal will, it's almost like will sacrifice itself if it means that its offspring or another one of its kind close to them can live. And the mental image I'm getting is I don't know what kind of animal this is. It's not the possum, because the possums do the actual opposite of this, I think. But the image I'm seeing is like a mother animal, like I don't know, looks like a rabbit or something, letting herself get eaten by the coyote, and so that it can give her babies a chance to run away. So there's sometimes they will allow themselves to die if it means that it gives their offspring a chance to live. Okay? There's another answer here that I don't fully understand yet, so I'm going to clarify it. This one is showing me Spirit's making me think back to the video I saw. I'm pretty sure it was a pig that jumped out of the back of this truck and went over the side of the hill and, like, obviously fell to its death. Because it was on its way to the feedlot or, like, the chop house or whatever. I do pick up that if they're in a situation where I think that some of them do, it's almost like people, sometimes people get a feeling they're going to die, but if they're in a situation that's like scary enough, bad enough, dangerous enough, or whatever, and it's like, I think if they realize that they're going, it's either like you're going to die, somebody or something is going to kill you, I think there are rare times where they would rather, why am I getting that? That's really weird. That's almost like a very human way of thinking about it. Would rather do it themselves than let someone else kill them. I don't understand that, Spirit. That's really weird. But there's another answer here too. So maybe the pig in that truck, like I saw in that video, maybe it actually did do that on purpose, because it just, there's something also about like the spirit of fear that surrounded, just like surrounded all that vehicle, all like those pigs or something. And it just wanted to, it didn't want to be afraid anymore. It just wanted this to end. There's just something. It just knew. So I don't know. That's really weird. But another thing that Spirit's showing me is that we might think of it as something really morbid and really dark. You know, like, why would they do that? Sometimes they do it by accident. And that's the thing, you know, there are people who have killed themselves by accident too. And that's what I get here with animals, is sometimes they do it by accident. I honestly feel like with these cards here, with the Tower, with their situation being dire enough, they know that they're going to die. And they would rather take care of it themselves than let someone else take their life, or let something else take their life. So I think that maybe they do sometimes do it on purpose. I think there might be cases where it's on purpose, but sometimes they'll sacrifice themselves so that their offspring can live, unless you're a possum, because I think it's the possum. The mother possum will throw its babies at the predator and run away. I think her thinking is that, oh, I can have more babies. And you know what? Some animals are like that. It's an animal thing. And then, yeah, there are some that they would rather themselves get eaten than their babies. Let the babies have a chance to run away. I think sometimes it does happen on purpose. Weird, weird, weird. Elliot is saying, wild creatures will sometimes sacrifice themselves to bring you a message. Crow magic is potent and crosses the veil between life and death. Interesting. Little Sparrow is saying, my husband and I once saved a crow who was walking across a very busy 4-lane street at rush hour. Now I wonder. She says, the crow was limping. Maybe he decided to end it rather than be left behind. Aw. And Peace is saying a bunny ran out in front of her car. Felt bad all day. Well, and you know what? Sometimes you can't safely... There are some times where you can't safely get out of the way. And sometimes that's just life. And I understand it. Like, I've had that happen before, too, where it was, like, little birds. They're kind of hopping across the road. And they blended in with the road. I couldn't see them. And there was no way for me to stop or get out of the way. Like, I was just sick over it. But... that's just life sometimes. It sucks, but you know what? Sometimes it's life, and it's not like you meant to do it. It was just an accident. Yeah, it says, never heard that about possums and their babies. A vet told me that most possums that get hit are older. They actually use possums in studies on dementia because they age quickly. I didn't know that. No, I think it's the possum. I'll have to go back and look at it again, but it's a type of rodent or something like that, and the mom will just sell the babies at the predator, like, or, you know, let the predator eat the babies. All right. And then Dave made a good point that sacrifice is different than suicide, and I do agree. But I think just the act of killing oneself or allowing oneself to die. So that's what Spirit was covering when it came to animals. So yeah, sometimes it's really weird. I think sometimes they do it on purpose. Sometimes it's just sacrifice so that, you know, their babies can get away. And sometimes it's just an accident. Okay. Catherine was asking about child prodigies. So like kids like age 2, age 3 that are somehow just amazing at a certain skill. Like maybe they're just amazing at music and they can play like a concert pianist or like a concert cellist or something. And they're just so young. And some kids have already like a beautiful singing voice, or some are just art prodigies, you know, or amazing with math, with science, or there was I think it was a French kid, and he's got to be grown by now, but had performed surgery on somebody's hand when he was only 7 years old. I remember reading that when I was very young and thinking, oh my God. And like just being so shocked and amazed. They say that Mozart was a child prodigy, was playing concerts by the age of 4. So Catherine is asking if child prodigies, like, are they star beings? Are they more or less alien? What is up with that? Why are some children just prodigies? Why are some people born with certain abilities just pretty much like unlocked and ready to go? What's with that, Spirit? Okay, so some people do have the Emperor and Page of Pentacles. Some people do have mastery over a certain gift or certain skill that they've been gifted with. I keep getting past life connections here. In one lifetime, a person was an absolute master at a particular skill, right? And I'm just getting that, I keep hearing the word reconcile, or like unable to reconcile something. It may have been a skill that they weren't encouraged to use, or one that they were just so passionate about that they would, you know, they just couldn't, the soul just could not let that go. I have this conflict here, 5 of Wands, and I keep hearing the word reconcile. And why I think it's a past life connection, this Queen of Wands, this is representing a person born as like a child prodigy, okay? In their last lifetime, they were someone else. This represents who they were in the past life. Some people just have mastery over certain skills and they carry it into another lifetime. Some people, I don't know, it's their way of reconciling. Why do I keep hearing that word reconciling? What's with that? People who were not encouraged to use certain gifts that they had when they were children. In some lifetimes, that is a thing that happens. And so their development in a certain area they might think it's like really stifled. Or it might have been stifled because in one, you know, maybe the soul just loves to sing, for example. And maybe in one lifetime, a person, you know, like as a child, they sort of realize that this is their passion, this is something they want to do, but because of, you know, maybe circumstances, they couldn't pursue a career as a singer or a career in the arts, or, you know, or had developed like an injury or wasn't able to sing anymore, or, oh, weird, Dave, you just said that as I was saying that. Somebody who was a very gifted dancer but then gets in an accident, for example, and can no longer move their legs, or has a very difficult recovery and can't, even if they could walk again, just can't move the same as they used to. In the next lifetime, it's like all of that blessing, that skill that got repressed, almost like it explodes out. The soul has to express it. So maybe the soul just desires music. And in the last lifetime, maybe they had something like they were just not encouraged to do that. Maybe for whatever reason, it's like, no, you're not going into this. You're going to go do something else. The soul is like, but I want to make music. And carries that. And then in the next lifetime, the soul's like, screw it, I'm making music. That's kind of one thing. I think there's a lot of different reasons why child prodigies happen. But it is definitely connected to past lives. So sometimes they, you know, maybe were exceptionally talented in that past life and were recognized for it. And the soul just wanted to experience that again. So Spirit's like, okay, we'll allow you to remember your skill with music. Is there any other reason why child prodigies happen? Ooh, something that just came in from Spirit is that the way that some people's brains are wired, they excel in one area, but as a result, other functions, I don't know if it's other functions of the brain or something, are, what is the word I'm looking for? Compromised? Like, for example, maybe somebody is an absolute savant with math and, you know, like, absolutely just brilliant with math, but at the same time, like, they can barely read. You know, maybe have a lot of struggle with reading. Or somebody who is just very intelligent in a certain area, but has limited social skills and has issues with learning about that kind of thing. That's another reason that sometimes happens. That's just what Spirit's telling me. It's interesting. It's weird, but it's kind of cool. Somebody had a really good comment. I wondered if Mozart and others had a mission also to bring new sound to earth for beauty and healing and energy. So is that another reason why some people are just born child prodigies? Is that just part of their soul's mission? I keep hearing the word agreement. I think so, because these two cards, some people were sent to bring healing and, you know, healing to the soul, things like art, music, things like that. That's kind of really healing to the soul. Some people are very gifted. Some people are just very gifted psychics. Some people are just really good with healing. And then, like, here's some souls are like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. This is my mission. This is what I'm going to do. Huh, this is interesting. Some of these people end up, like, you know, they're, like, very young prodigies or whatever. Some of these people end up becoming very tired in life. Because for some, not for all, but for some, they kind of end up just using their skills and stuff so that, yeah, it would make them money, you know, if they're able to go do concerts or shows or sell their artwork or sell albums or whatever. I keep hearing capitalizing. Sometimes they get so tired of capitalizing on their gifts. I don't know why I'm hearing that. Or maybe I know why I'm hearing that. Yeah, I do feel like some people kind of just, we forget about our soul's mission and they get tied up in the material aspects of things, and so they get tired of it and they want to walk away from it. Because sometimes they love having this gift and practicing it, and they love to just be in the zone, in that state of flow when they're doing the thing that they're really good at. But then sometimes it's tiring having to go and do this, you know, like I said, like capitalizing on their gifts. Like, it's become a job to some of them, or to some of them it becomes a chore. And Oh, Patricia says, the great classical pianist Van Slibern? I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. But anyways, stopped performing sooner in his career than anyone expected. In an interview, he just felt like it was enough. And I was just going to say that there are some really, really talented professionals who choose to retire early. And, okay, yeah, we also read on the 27 Club in our last stream. Some of those people were very, very talented and very influential, but at the price of having a really difficult life for some of them, or a short life, because they just went through all of the things they were supposed to experience. They just happened to go through it quickly. So that might have something to do with it too. Lola just brought up the 27 Club there. If you haven't watched that stream, I recommend you do, because it was pretty cool. The last question that I have written down is, I don't know who asked this one, I can't remember, but they asked, do the markings on our bodies, like fingerprints, birthmarks, etc., contain information about past lives? And this is a cool one, I wonder it too. Because some people, I don't remember where I read this, but I was kind of reading a story, stories about like kids who remember their past lives and stuff, because that stuff's kind of cool. And one lady was saying that, you know, in this lifetime, her son was born just with sensitive skin and eczema, and would sometimes flare up with just red patches all over the place. And I don't know if it was out of nowhere or what, but the little boy told her, and he wasn't very old, like maybe 3, that something about, before you were my mom, like I died in a fire, and that's why my skin is red. So I thought that was fascinating. And then again, like, I used to look after little kids. I used to look after babies, especially, all the time. And there was one little guy in particular that, you know, sometimes we would have to like help them change the clothes, change the shirts and stuff like that. And one little boy has a big, you can't see where I'm pointing, but it's a big birthmark. It's right near his belly button. And I always wondered if maybe in a past life he had been like speared or shocked or somehow like injured through the belly. I always wondered that. So Spirit, what do you have to say about it? Do the markings on our bodies contain information about past lives? Look what jumped out already is the High Priestess. There's a spiritual element to it. So yes, short answer is yes, absolutely. Okay. They're kind of like messages to us about why am I hearing the word legacy with this 10 of Pentacles? The rich lifetime you forgot you've lived. And not like rich as in money, rich as in like rich in spirit, rich in experiences. That's what it is. Remembering, it's like a message to us that before this incarnation, we have already lived many, many lifetimes rich with experiences. And I'm getting that it's like maybe over time we will come to remember, because we're not supposed to remember everything from our past lives. That would be too overwhelming, and maybe to some a little bit too confusing when it comes to, you know, memories and things like that. But we are meant to remember slowly over time. I think we're meant to remember things slowly over time about our past lives, and we're meant to remember the lessons that we've learned so that we can continue to apply them to this lifetime so that we can have the best experience possible. And then with the Fool, I'm hearing you will continue to gather scars. You will continue to gather, I keep hearing marks of experience, proof of experience, proof of exposure. Exposure to this life on Earth. It's a real privilege to be on Earth. That's something Spirit is telling me. Like, and us on Earth, we might be like, are you serious? Have you seen this place? Like, sometimes we go like, I don't want to be here anymore, but it really is a privilege to be on Earth, for better or for worse, because of the experience our souls gain. Sometimes the scars are reminders to be careful, or they come as a warning. Maybe in a past lifetime you made a bad choice that resulted in you getting very hurt, or maybe the thing that killed you. Wow, I'm getting something weird come in, okay? Something really weird. There are people who've recently incarnated, okay? Recently incarnated, and on their arms, like around, if you can see, around here on their arms, freckles, or some other kinds of birthmarks, because in their last lifetime, IV drug use, those were their track marks. In the next lifetime, I don't know why Spirit, no, I know why. I need to stop saying I don't know why, because I do know why. Spirit is showing us this because it's important. They're showing it to us because they need to show it to us. But mental image that I have, just freckles and little birthmarks and stuff around, like, and it could vary. The mental image I have is on the inside of the elbow, but I'm also seeing that for some people they may have like freckles or birthmarks or stuff between the toes. That's another popular injection site, or just places on the body where in the last lifetime they injected. And this is, I'm getting like people who've just, I'm hearing fresh new life, freshly reincarnated. That it's like, be careful, do not fall into that old habit, because if they, obviously they're not going to remember that when they go into their new lifetime. They might not remember that, at least not on a conscious level. But let's say they get older and maybe they're going through some hard times and they're feeling really tempted to start like using some form of substance or something like that. Maybe they get offered a past life regression, let's just say, and the person tells them like, hey, you know, in that last lifetime you OD'd on heroin, or you had a methamphetamine problem or something like that. Maybe something inside of their soul would be like, oh, that's what that was all about. Okay, I need to stay off that path because this is where it led me in the last lifetime. In this lifetime, I need to make a different decision. That was something that came in. Why else did that come in, Spirit? There's something you want to tell us. This is going to start happening more so in areas of the United States and Canada. Spirit's actually showing me a bunch of other countries where there's like, I'm hearing epidemic, like the opioid epidemic, and just the yeah. What? This is really strange. Since I'm getting a lot of pictures and images and stuff. It's a reminder for some people that they do not need to go down that path again. It's a reminder of their self-destructive past so that they can have a constructive future. And as more and more people currently die of overdoses and things like that from the opioid epidemic that's happening in the States, and I think stuff like this happens in Canada too, and Spirit was just showing me a map of the world with different areas lighting up. And in Britain is another one as well, that more and more people might start being born with certain markings like that. But the soul treats that, you know, it was a horrible experience on Earth, but the soul treats that as valuable lesson, valuable information. Is there anything else you can tell us about, you know, fingerprints, birthmarks, stuff like that? Anything else you can tell us, or anything else you can tell us about, you know, little connections to our past lives, things like that? Many of these are battle scars. For people who have lived lifetimes in like ancient, I'm just seeing like these ancient civilizations. I'm hearing Mesopotamia, but Spirit's just throwing out examples of different past civilizations where war was really common, where there was just a lot of unrest, there were just all kinds of battles, and sometimes I keep hearing the word soldiers a lot. A lot of people had been soldiers in past lifetimes. And you know what is interesting? It's not just physical markings on our bodies, okay? I am going to very, sorry, I guess carefully tell the story, because again, this is the internet and these are real people. I do know someone that is afraid of loud noises, sudden bang, like fireworks. That person can't handle fireworks. It's very upsetting to them, or they can handle it, but they don't like it. Very upsetting to them. And then something else about this person was that they always liked the smell of chlorine, like at the swimming pool. And they told me, well, it's probably because we used to go to the pool all the time when I was a kid, or whatever. But something that Spirit showed me was that, and I'm gonna have to make a video on like the ethics of being a psychic and stuff like that, because I one night blurted out all this information to this person, and I think I frightened them a little bit. Told them that just the reason that they are so sensitive to loud sounds and don't like it is because it reminds the soul of gunfire, because this was a person who was very young during the First World War. Somebody, I always had picked up that this person had been gassed, and this had all happened somewhere in Europe. And I always had the impression that they were French, or they were, and that this happened maybe in France or something like that, but they were gassed, and they, you know, were all around the gunfire and stuff like that, and that's why that carried over into this lifetime that they live, even though the current lifetime this person lives is very peaceful. I hope that they're okay with me telling that story. If that person still looks at my channel sometimes. I don't know if they do or not, but or like, I'm gonna use my dad as an example now. My dad told me he does not like, I think going to the lake is okay, but like going to the ocean, I think he said it would make him really uncomfortable, and just being out in really big water makes him really uncomfortable. And a long time ago, like, I guess he said he'd gone to a medium, and the medium had told him things about past lives and stuff like that. And it was sort of towards the end of the session, so the medium was like, I'm really sorry, this is like a really big, there's a long story to this, and I don't have time to explain it during our session. So he didn't ever really get it explained, but why he was so uncomfortable out in big open water. Because in a past life, in a past life, that was probably the cause of his death, was drowning, or maybe was in a wreck or something, you know, and was stranded in the water or something like that. I hope he's okay with me telling that that as an example. But I always thought it was really cool ever since he told me that story. Yeah. Oh, I absolutely love learning about past lives and stuff like that. Yeah, Mel is saying fear of water for her because of possible drowning in a past life. Lola says, I think PTSD can follow you from one lifetime to the next. Yeah, I think maybe in some way it could. Ellie says, wow, I remember someone who had strawberry nevus, which covered half of his face. He lived as a recluse because of it. Oh dear. Dave says he remembers in Hiroshima he was an elderly doctor in that lifetime. Little Sparrow says she has a weird thing about overhead lights. She can't stand it. Needs soft light in corners. And Little Sparrow, you were saying something when I was talking about people are going to start being born with, like, you know, the injection, more or less, birthmarks representing old track marks. I had seen one of your comments. Here it is. She says, I have 2 freckles in that spot and always felt it was that I died that way in London in the 60s. Wild that you said that. I felt I was a man and it was sad, and I left my wife and child. I had a whole thing. I've always reacted with strange fear about drugs too. And then Dave was saying, I missed this comment, but it's kind of cool. He says, I have vitiligo, patches of skin with no color. I was burned at the stake twice and vaporized in Hiroshima. It's like having scars. Yeah, and you know what? Like, sometimes we have weird phobias in this lifetime that if we can't go back into our childhood and think of where the fear might have come from, because, you know, like, I have a friend who is afraid of butterflies and moths because as a baby, a butterfly flew into their face, and that really, really scared him. And that's why growing up, he's not comfortable around butterflies and moths, right? So that was a current lifetime connection. But there are some phobias that people have that there's like no real reason for it. Like somebody having like a fear of the ocean, but they're born in the middle of prairie ass oil land Alberta. You know, there's lakes in Alberta, but we ain't close to the ocean. Or it just, you know, something like that. Just something that just doesn't make sense. Like when I was a little kid, I always had a fear of being run over by a car. I was always afraid of that. And yes, okay, the adults around you that are responsible will tell you to hold their hand when you go across the street, or to look both ways and to be careful not to get run over and stuff like that. Because again, I grew up out in the country, there wasn't a lot of cars and stuff, but every time we went to town, sure, it was put into my head, like, watch for cars. But even before that started really getting, you know, like drilled into me, like I think I remember just around like age maybe 4, just having this fear of getting run over. So I sometimes wondered if that maybe happened in a last lifetime. I don't know. Little Sparrow's talking about that life that she had. About being a man living in the 60s and dying of a potential IV drug overdose. She says she feels that example that came up from Spirit may have been for her. It was so validating that it was real. And then Mel saying, Little Sparrow, when you said overhead lights, surgery lights popped into mind. That could be it, you know, maybe they loaded you up into like an ambulance or something like that. You never know. But she says she's processed that life. She's cried and apologized. She wondered if it was real or not. I would say that was probably real. If you still have so strongly of an emotional connection to that, it says really amazing you said it because it was so random. I just did pull one card for you, and I feel like you have in that lifetime reconciled that with your family, their higher selves in the spirit realm. They know. And then I have justice on the bottom. Something was balanced out for you just now. Something karmic has been balanced for you. And that may have been when you processed that lifetime and you know, you said sorry to your loved ones. And somebody in the comments is saying, like, you didn't need to apologize, think you were a victim. You're learning to overcome the obstacle. I mean, that's true too. But at least by apologizing, like, you just take responsibility for the healing, and you just took responsibility for the actions of your past life, even if you didn't really remember them. It just showed your intention that you really meant it. So I hope you feel better about that. I wonder if you were like some kind of musician or something back then. Like, what the heck? Like Sid Vicious or something like that. I don't know when he died, if that was the 60s or the 70s or the when, I don't know. But you know what I'm kind of meaning. I wonder. Interesting. But that's the end of... It's not the end of me throwing cards on the floor. That's the end of the questions that, like, I have. That's the end of my notes. And we are almost at 2 hours. I think I am gonna go. I'm getting a little bit hungry again. Ate a little bit before my stream. I'm almost out of water. I need to eat. I'm gonna go for a walk with my boyfriend, I think, today. But okay. Oh, CP, you have a really good question because I wondered this too. Okay, I'm just kidding, you guys. I'll go in a few minutes. CP has a really good question because this is something that used to bother me a lot. It was something that I had anxiety about a lot. If we make a mistake in life and realize the pain we caused, do we still have to relive it in the life review? Okay. That was something I wondered about too. It used to give me so much anxiety. Am I still going to have to pay for it in another lifetime? Am I going to have to sit through the life review and see it? What's done is done. That's what I heard with 10 of Swords. What's done is done. You dealt with it on Earth. It dies on Earth. It dies with your body on earth. Any judgment that you feel, I am getting from Spirit, it comes from yourself. You might have to still watch it in the life review, because it could be really useful to understand how it made other people feel. It's just going to be for your own growth, but no one's going to be judging you. If anyone is judging you, it is coming from yourself. And it, you know, the life review, it might be kind of emotional, but there will always be spirit guides there who are ready to absorb like any negativity or anything like that, or any guilt or any shame that you might be feeling. Also, I just have that shame is a human construct. People want other people to feel shame. Spirit doesn't want us to feel shame. Sometimes a little bit of guilt helps because it helps us to realize, oh my God, I need to make this right. And then once you've made it right and balanced it, then it's done. Then it's done. Spirit doesn't really want us to feel guilt, but they do want us to do our best to take responsibility for ourselves and our choices. And then after that, when you've done your best, you've done what you can, then it's done. So you might have to watch it in your life review. I don't pick up that you have to atone for it necessarily in your next life unless it was something really big. But for the most part, Spirit just keeps repeating to me, what's done is done. It's okay. Aw, Little Sparrow, thank you so much for your support and your super chat. Oh, you emailed me for a private reading, CP. Okay, cool. I know I got, since yesterday, actually since last night, I've gotten a lot of emails, so I have to go through them after the stream. So if I'm really slow getting back to anybody, that's why. I just have a lot right now. It's okay. I totally appreciate it. I love getting clients. I absolutely adore when people are curious about a reading and stuff. So if I haven't gotten back to you yet and you've emailed me, just hang in there. I will get back to you. And with that, you guys, I am going to go for real this time. And Colored Lens is saying, nice spending the afternoon with you. Sunny where I am now. It's finally sunny in Alberta, at least my part of Alberta. I'm going to go out for a walk with my man and we're going to enjoy it. And I'm going to see you guys. I want to do, if I have time or space this weekend, I would love to do another stream. Peace is asking, do I do past life readings? I absolutely do. So if you want a past life reading or anything with me, email me, seannarosetarot@gmail.com. I think all of that is in the description on the stream anyways, but yeah. With that, you guys, you have a great afternoon, and I'm going to see you very, very soon.